This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
We are rolling. Like monsters out of a cage, the open date is behind us, and we're ready to dive right back into the numbers. We welcome you into the Sports Source Digital Network. Chuck Cavalaris. They know him as Chucky Cino. They just know me as Tyler. Well, Tyler Ivens. We have numbers we need to get into, including matchups like the Red River Shootout and how well does Florida fare after a huge upset at home over Texas. But first, let's get into Tennessee, Arkansas. Chuck Cavalaris.
Yes, sir.
2000. That was the turn of the century. We sit here now some 25 years later. And I understand division breakdowns. You don't see your West opponents formally as much as you see your East opponents formally.
Sir.
This is only going to be the fifth time since the turn of the century. So about every 5 years, the Hogs head east, they show back up to Rocky Top. And usually when they get here, it's a heavyweight fight. They're gripping, they are ripping, they are swinging. So let's get started with the prop bet. And I think this is probably a great one, seeing that Arkansas ranks the bottom of the SEC defensively in scoring, and Tennessee's defense needs to do some improving. Over those four previous matchups, Arkansas and Tennessee have seen the Vols average 39.5 points in four previous matchups. I think you guys can see where we're going with the struggling Arkansas defense coming to town. Chuck Cavalaris, prop bet right out of the gate. If I set Tennessee's team total, and it's the average over four previous matchups at Neyland Stadium at 39.5, you taking the over or the under?
Well, I did probably a pretty good total, right? Especially when you know all of the changes Arkansas's made. Fired their defensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, says he's going to improve the defense. He's the offensive guy.
Right.
But what has he said during their open day? We're going to improve the defense. As poorly as they played and with that image of them against Notre Dame, misaligned, missed tackles, lack of effort, they're going to be improved. But I'm going to take over on just about any Arkansas defensive stat.
Yeah, to me, this is going to be one of those typical how many do the Vols want to score against an Arkansas team. Listen, if you want to question about what you're going to get out of Bobby Petrino offensively with Taylen Green, we'll do that coming up in the next 9 minutes here on Action.
Yeah.
That's fine. But from a defensive standpoint, I think this is Tennessee. Glad that the open date hit when it did after the Mississippi State scare in overtime. But the Vols offense is still going to have the punch that you need. You can look inside the numbers, both running backs and wide receivers. Joey Aguilar, an opportunity to be able to rest that arm. You know about his active record streak across the FBS. I think this is going to be 40-some-odd points. I think Tennessee can make it as messy as they want.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say a touchdown over maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, as bad as they want to make it.
At least 5 to 7 points over that, 39.5.
We'll set the average at 39.5. I'm intrigued as we get into this week how well Vegas thinks they know Bobby Petrino from either previous Arkansas Falcons days or what he was doing over on the Mountain West Conference.
Right.
I want to get into our three picks today, and we're going to give them to you lightning fast. All right, SEC picks ahead of Tennessee and the Hogs. Let's get started with number one. Anytime these two teams get together, Dallas and the Red River Shootout, Vegas usually reflects on how messy this game is going to get. It's either going to be a big Texas win or a close, heart-stopping win for Oklahoma. I like their defense to continue to mess around with Arch Manning. Michael Hawkins has enough to be able to keep the Sooners alive. Do they win straight up? We might even get out of this with a push. Give me the Sooners plus the points. Speaking of a three-point line, what's smelling weird up in Como? You're telling me right now, arguably the best team in the SEC, Alabama, going on the road at just a skinny field goal favorite. Look, I think Eli Drinkwitz is doing a great job at Missouri. But is his defense going to be able to slow down Ty Simpson? I'll take a chance even if it's a sucker bet. Give me the Tide, and I'll lay a field goal there. I dare you to screw me on this game, Florida. I already canceled you. I already pushed you out the side of the door. You're not allowed to hang out with me. But maybe DJ Lagway and maybe Billy Napier, this is the uptick like we just saw in 2024. It was around this time they started improving, and they got all the way to 7 wins last year. Give me the points and give me a showdown where I think Florida is able to keep things close in College Station against the Aggies.
All righty. Now, on my three, Tyler, how about we start with Georgia at Auburn?
Yes.
And we have two running quarterbacks,
Yep.
really. So which running quarterback can be a little bit more effective passing the ball? We already know Kirby Smart has said Jordan Hare is one of the toughest places in the country
Right.
to play and win. I still think Georgia gets it done in the end. And then here's one I really went back and forth over. South Carolina at LSU at night. I mean, when you think about the open date, does LSU fix that offense?
They better.
They were like 117th rushing and 105 yards a game. I know it's tough, but I think 9.5 is a lot of points with Lenoris Sellers and South Carolina. Maybe they do make a play in the kicking game. And then I did take the Aggies.
Here comes the
I think
oppo.
Texas A&M is the most complete team in the SEC right now. And I'll tell you what, that Kyle Field at night, Florida, have they turned the corner, or is it DJ Lagway on the road again making mistakes? We'll find out.
The hook. The hook, baby.
Advent Electric has been providing high-quality electrical contractor solutions for 46 years. From 24/7 emergency electrical services to providing skilled residential and commercial electrical contractors and everything in between. Our expert certified electricians are equipped to help you no matter the size or complexity. Advent Electric, 865-588-0631.
Once again, we want to say thank you to the friends over at Advent Electric. And if you like what we're doing here at the Sports Source Digital Network, comment below. Who's got the difference in Texas A&M, Florida? What do you think about the prop bet involving the Vols and their team total coming up at Neyland Stadium on Friday afternoon? Ring that bell. You can also like it. Give us all the things to make sure your friends know about the digital network, and now we can continue to do the things that we do here on Rocky Top. Look, Chuck, here's the thing. People say Monday action, Monday action. Why do you guys want action on Monday? Give me the earliest lines with the best movement so we can do our own work. And we appreciate that, so we'll give that to you. At 13.5, Chuck Cavalaris,
Yes.
Vols, Hogs, nearly 2 touchdowns, interim coach. Brother, I respect the work you do trying to find 3 keys to a guy who's going to kitchen sink Saturday.
Yes.
I'm going to be impressed.
Well, I tell you what, when we're looking at the open date and in the coaching changes and changing the defensive coordinator, defensive line coach,
Yeah.
I tell you what, to me, one of the big keys is going to be UT adjustments. And that was a big disappointment last year at Arkansas when they played that 3-6-2 defense.
Yes.
And Coach Heupel said they did not communicate well enough on the field, on the sidelines. They didn't make enough adjustments. So it's designed to slow down the passing game, right? So do you run the ball? Whatever you decide to do and whatever's working, you need to decide and make sure you pick something that's working right. And then I put down healthy. Boy, you mentioned it, Tyler. That open date came at a perfect time. Do you get Jermod McCoy back? How does that help your secondary, your corners? Does it give you some more depth?
Right.
And then I also put down Davian Hobbs. If you can get him back in the defensive line,
Welcome back.
interior, yeah.
Welcome
back. Can you give Jackson Moy some time? How does that help your depth? You need him back. And he's been out since August. And then you also, is David Sanders, is he going to be a starter at tackle? So you got
key.
that with the healthy, especially after an open date. And then this last one I've got, I think it's the key, pressure Taylon Green. He is so smooth back there, man. He's like a point guard. He can make plays, but he doesn't handle pressure. And he doesn't handle pressure up the middle. So do you pressure that way? How do you handle what he likes to do? If he gets in rhythm, he can give you a lot of trouble, especially in the adjustments Bobby Petrino's made with his offense.
Can I take it a step further with pressure? You guys maybe don't go back and watch as much film as we do before we go into the next opponent. But if you get an opportunity when you get done here on the Sports Source Digital Network, go take a look at the Taylon Green film. And I want you to watch Taylon Green, Arkansas quarterback, how efficient he is when he's flushed to his right. And I want you to go take a look at Taylon Green and how uncomfortable he is when he gets flushed to his left. Usually it's just pressure on the quarterback. If Tennessee can make Taylon Green, I'm going opposite here, go left based on you watching me viewing. If you can get him to roll left out of the pocket compared to right, he is clunky, disorganized. He looks like a steering wheel that's not aligned. He goes right. He's very, very fluid. He's very, very comfortable with what he wants to do.
And more mistake prone to the
Absolutely.
left. I mean, he's had 5 interceptions.
Right.
And he's also one of their, but he can also tuck it and run it.
Oh, very much
I
so.
don't think he'll do that some, but to keep him as much under wraps as you can and get some sacks, get the pressure, that is a huge key to this game.
I'm going to tell you to do something I normally wouldn't ask you to do, because Vegas does a great job of making you either take the bait on the underdog or take the bait on the favorite. My fear in this game coming up on Saturday is that Tennessee does what they need to do to get their offense in line. And as we touched at the top of this program, they can score as many points at will against the worst scoring defense in the SEC against Arkansas. But does that hook at 13.5 scare you? It would me. If you and I were sitting at the same table, if Chuck and I were sitting together and he asked me my thoughts on this, I would go to your sports book. I'd go to alternate lines. I'd pay the 15 cents and get this line up to 14 so you can have the safety net of 2 touchdowns. I think that this could end up playing out to be a 45-31 game.
Yeah.
Maybe even dip it down a little bit more into that 38. It's going to be in the 38-41 range. 38-14, maybe a 38. Well, that math doesn't math. 38-24 in that range. Maybe if I could do my Central High School math, that would work out. But if that hook scares you, pay the 15 cents, pay the 20 cents, and know that, hey, you might get out of this kissing your sister at 2 touchdowns, but at least it's not going to cost you money. I think the Vols, at the end of the day, if you told me I couldn't buy it, I'll take Tennessee to no, I won't. I'll take Arkansas. This is how close I am on this matchup. I'll take Arkansas on the 13.5, but I would feel 1,000 times better knowing that I bought that hook for 15, 20, some odd cents, and I was able to have that safety net.
Yeah, I still think, it's an afternoon game. So, I mean, you're looking at Tennessee at home. Mm-hmm. There's so many factors that we don't really know as what Arkansas is going to look like. You expect them to be at least more inspired than they were against Notre Dame.
Right.
I'm going to take it like Tennessee 45-28. How about that?
Chuck Cavalaris says he'll take Tennessee and he'll lay the 13.5. I'll be the scaredy cat here, or I'll call the Hogs in the 13.5. Tennessee wins, but it's going to be an uncomfortable fourth quarter for anybody who's got a little bit of action in the game. For Chuck Cavalaris, Tyler Ivens from right here in the Sports Source Digital Network studios. We continue the climb through October. We'll chat with you next week ahead of the matchup in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Hey guys, Tyler Ivens. And with the upcoming sports season around the block, a lot of you out there are probably anxious to head to your favorite sports book. I'm here to remind you, be sure that you're setting limits. Never chase your losses, and make sure that you only gamble what you can afford to lose. And if you do have a sports gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Light.